Welcome students. Today we will understand the verb. Verbs are the most important words in a sentence. Generally in a sentence there is a single verb, but in some sentences there are more than one verb. Such sentences are complex sentences or compound sentences like that. So today we are going to understand the verb. Let us understand what are the verbs. The verb. As I told you, the verb is the most important part of a sentence, and without the verb, we can't make a sentence. And in the today, firstly, we will understand what are the verbs and how many types of verbs are there. Verb is derived from the Latin word verbum. Verbum, which means the most important word. The most important. So what is a verb? A verb is a word that has been derived from the Latin word verbum, and it is the most important word in a sentence. We can't write a sentence without a verb. It tells us some action or a state about a person or thing. What is the work of a verb? It tells us some action or a state about a person or a thing. For example, he goes to the market. If I say he goes to the market, so here goes is the verb, and it is telling something about he. He is going where? To the market. So this word is important. It tells where this person is actually going. It indicates the movement of this person. He is at home. He is at home. It describes a particular state of a person. He is present in his home. Now let us understand the types of the verb. These are of two types: finite verb and non-finite verb. And non-finite. In the previous classes we understood about non-finite verbs, and in these classes, this class and after this there would be some more classes, and here we are going to understand the finite verb. So finite verb is also divided in certain categories. So what are these? Basically, finite verb is divided in 4 categories. Number 1, transitive verb. intransitive, linking verb, transitive verbs are those verbs which are having some object. Then intransitive verbs and linking verbs. Linking verbs are those verbs which take some complement for completion of the meaning of the sentence. And intransitive verbs are without any object, they don't take any object for their meaning. So, and about the non-finite verb, we have already understood what are the non-finite verbs. So, before we proceed further, we will understand, we will have a quick revision. Verb is derived from the Latin word verbum. Which word? Verbum. Which means the most important word of a sentence. It tells us some action or a state about a person or a thing. He goes to the market, he is at home. These are of two types, finite and non-finite. This is number one. And then there are certain auxiliary verbs. Transitive, now we will understand these one by one. What are transitive verbs? You just get an idea. Transitive verbs actually have an object. They pass the action from the subject to the object. Intransitive means not passing over. When the action is not passing over from the subject to the object, object is simply not there. Action stops at the subject itself. Linking verbs. These are the verbs which are without any object, or we can say these are the verbs which require some complement. These are the verbs which are without any predication, or we can say these are the verbs of incomplete predication, and auxiliaries are actually helping verbs. So we will proceed further to understand them one by one. In the previous class, we understood about non-finite verbs, and in the non-finite verbs, you know that there are infinitives, gerunds, participles. So those who are new students, they can get the link and they can see the previous videos. And those who are old students, they have already understood these non-finite verbs. So let us proceed further in this topic. The first category is transitive verbs. First type, transitive verbs. The word transit means passing from one state to another one. So you might have heard about transit points. There are in the border there are certain transit points. Goods of one country pass over to another country through these transit points. So this word transitive actually means passing over, when the action passes over. When the action passes over from the subject to the object. When the action passes over from the subject to the object, so obviously these require an object. These verbs take an object. For example, he gives me a ball. He gives me what? He gives me a ball. So here, in this sentence, there are two objects, one direct and another indirect. Let us take another one, another example. He reads a book. Here we see that in first sentence there are two objects and in the second sentence there is one object. And action is passing over from the subject to the object. So first one is called transitive verb. Here it is transitive verb. Why? Because there are two objects. So when a transitive verb takes two objects, then it is called transitive verb. And when it takes one object, then it is simply transitive. So what is transitive verb here? Reads and gives. And what is the object here? This is the direct object and this is the indirect object. And here it is the direct object, single object is there. So we can say it is simply the object. It is simply the object. Now see another example. This is 1, 2. He walks the horse. He walks the horse. He walks what? He walks the horse. So here this verb is transitive verb. Why? It takes an object. Next one. The driver stopped the train. The driver stopped the train. So obviously this is the object. Okay. And this is the transitive verb. He purchased a book. He purchased a book. This is the object. And this is the transitive verb. So let us have a quick revision. Transitive verb always takes an object after it. And here we can say the action passes over from the subject to the object. When transitive verb takes two objects, then it is called transitive verb. And generally, when it takes one object, then it is called transitive verb only. So you can see these examples. He gives me a ball. Here there are two objects. Me is indirect object and ball is direct object. He gives what? If we put the question what, then the answer is a ball. If we put the question whom, then the answer is me. So the answer that we get by putting the question whom, that will be the indirect object. Similarly, you can see he reads a book. He reads what? He reads a book. He walks the horse. He walks what? He walks the horse. The driver stopped the train. The driver stopped what? The train. He purchased a book. He purchased what? A book. So I hope you have understood this transitive verb. What are transitive verbs? Now let us see what are intransitive verbs. Intransitive Intransitive verbs. Intransitive verbs don't take any object. Intransitive means not passing over. Intransitive means not passing over. Here action stops at the verb, at the subject itself. Action doesn't pass. And there is no object. So there is no chance of that. These verbs don't take an object. And action stops at the subject itself. That is, there is no passing over of action, okay, from the subject. There is no object at all. Example: the horse walks. The train stops. The train stopped. The child laughs. My son is sleeping. So here in these examples you can see there is no object, but here the sense is full, or we can say these still give us full meaning. But you can see that the same verbs have been used here as intransitive verbs. In the example of transitive verbs, you saw the horse walks. Here the horse walks. There is no object. And if you say he walks the horse, so here walks is used both as an intransitive verb and as a transitive verb. So we can say the same verb can be used as a transitive verb or an intransitive verb. So depending upon the use of the verb, we will say whether it is transitive or intransitive, or we can say the verb is used intransitively here. The verb is used intransitively here, and there when we say he walks the horse, then it is used transitively there. Similarly, the driver stopped the train. When we say the driver stopped the train, then verb is used transitively. When we say the train stopped, then here it is used intransitively. The child laughs, my son is sleeping. These are also intransitive verbs which don't require any object. So I hope you have understood these intransitive verbs. Those who want to write, they may write. Now we will understand what are the linking verbs. This is the third category of verbs. These are the linking verbs. As the this word suggests, these simply join two words of importance. One word is of subject and another is of complement. These are also called verbs of incomplete predication. Verbs of incomplete predication, that simply means there is no predicate of such verbs. Which verbs are popularly called linking verbs? There are basically the verbs be, is, am, are, was, were. These are popularly used as linking verbs. Then have, and then certain verbs like appear, seem, taste. Generally, the verbs of perception. Verbs of perception also are popularly used as linking verbs. Appear, seem, taste, hear. Okay. Let us see some examples of it. Examples. He is a doctor. In have, has, had. Okay, these are the popular verbs. Apart from these, some other verbs are also there, like look, listen. Okay, generally the verbs of perception and these common verbs. He is a doctor. Ram is an advocate. Shyam looks sad. My father seems angry. My father seems angry. Shyam looks sad. So here we can see this is the complement. These are the complements. What are these? Complements. So here these are not the objects, these are the complements. That's why these are called the linking verbs. They require some complement in order to give the full meaning. So let us have a quick revision. Linking verbs are called verbs of incomplete predication. They don't have an object but require a complement. Now let us have a quick revision. These are the popular linking verbs: is, am, are, was, were. Have, has, had, appear, seem, taste, hear, look, listen. These are etc. He is a doctor. Ram is an advocate. Shyam looks sad. My father seems angry. So I hope you have understood what are the linking verbs. Those who want to write, they may write. Fourth category, auxiliaries. Auxiliaries are basically divided in basically two types, but there is a third one also, that is called, let us understand, primary auxiliary, primary auxiliaries, models and semi models. Models or model auxiliaries. What are auxiliaries? Auxiliaries are the helping verbs. These are the helping verbs. Now, what are primary auxiliaries? We will understand them one by one. What are primary auxiliaries? Primary auxiliaries. The verbs of the form be. Verbs of the form be is, am, are, was, were. Okay? Verbs of the form has, have, has, had. Verbs of the form do, does, did. Okay, so let us have a quick revision. What are auxiliaries? Auxiliaries are actually helping verbs. There are primary auxiliaries, there are models, there are semi-models. And what are primary auxiliaries? These are the verbs of the form be. What are the forms? Is, am, are, was, were. Verbs of the form has, have, has, had. Verbs of the form do, does, did. Now, how these are used, we will understand. In the fourth category, auxiliaries, we are understanding primary auxiliaries. Forms of verb be. These are used for making continuous tense. The forms of be are used for making continuous tense. Has, have, has, had. These are used for making perfect tense. And forms of do, does, did. These are used for making interrogative and negative sentences. For making interrogative and negative do, does and did. Do, does and did, these are used for making interrogative or negative sentences. Let us see some examples. Examples of type B. He is going to school. He is going to school. So you can see is he was playing in the field. So here you can see was. Ram will be meeting his father tomorrow. So you can see how B is used. How B is used, the form of B is used for continuous, for making the continuous tense. Now how it is used for making perfect tense. See examples. He has eaten his food. He shall have done the work. He shall have done the work. He has eaten his food. So here you can see how form of has is used for making the perfect tense. Now do, does, did. These are used for making interrogative or negative sentences. How these are used. See the example. He does not go to school. Here we can see that does has been used to make the negative sentence. Do you want some money? Here you can see that do is used for making the interrogative sentence. So with this we have understood what are primary auxiliaries. Now let's have a recap. Primary auxiliaries are basically be, has, do, and their forms are used for making the forms of be are used for making the continuous tense. Forms of has are used for making perfect tense, and forms of do are used for making interrogative and negative sentences in different tenses. These are the examples. He is going to school. He was playing in the field. Ram will be meeting his father tomorrow. He has eaten his food. He shall have done the work. He does not go to school. Do you want some money? So in this way we have understood what are primary auxiliaries. And in the next class we will understand what are modals and what are semi-modals. And you know that modals are very important and how to use them in a proper way, that we will understand, and that is very important. So those students who want to write, and before I end the class, you just have to go through it, and if you are a new student, you can subscribe the channel for more videos that will come. And if you are the old student, then you can like and share and subscribe. Ask your friends to do the same. Okay, so that they are also able to get the benefits from these classes, and more such topics will come. In the next class we will understand the uses of modals and semi-modals. Okay, So I hope you have enjoyed. Thank you.